I now want to talk about Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. So Drew Brees has been put on IR by the New Orleans Saints coaching staff. Drew Brees obviously is injured. There are reports that he was playing through a very injured rib over the past couple of weeks. That injury got even more serious this past week versus the 49ers. He took a big hit versus the 49ers, and he was put on the sideline. Jameis Winston came in to replace Drew Brees. Drew Brees did not return in that game. Now Drew Brees is placed on IR, okay? He, according to reports, has a collapsed lung and fractured ribs. Now, what does this mean for the New Orleans Saints? This is not the end of the world for the New Orleans Saints in regards to their Super Bowl chances. Not the end of the world. It definitely could affect their Super Bowl chances, but I say it's not the end of the world because last year in New Orleans, they went 5-0 with Teddy Bridgewater as their starting quarterback. Now, Teddy Bridgewater obviously is now in Carolina, but the Saints have a very good roster, very good run game led by Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. Michael Thomas is one of the best wide receivers in all of football. They've still got one of the best offensive lines in all of football, and their defense actually has been playing very well the last couple of weeks. So New Orleans, they're not an awful team. They're still a team that arguably is a top 5 roster in all of football. They can at least stay afloat. They'll make the playoffs more than likely, whether Drew Brees is their starting quarterback or not. Okay, but you look at and you also look at the remaining schedule. Atlanta at home, at Denver, at Atlanta, at Philly, Chiefs at home, Vikings at home, then at Carolina. There's some tough games mixed in there. You know, you got the Chiefs game, you got the Philly game. Philadelphia's not all that great, but it's still on the road. So we'll see how long Drew Brees is out. He's out for at least the next 3 weeks. Taysom Hill reportedly is going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints going forward, at least this week versus Atlanta. But I will say this, in regards to Drew Brees and his career, in regards to how this injury affects it, I truly think Drew Brees' career might be coming to an end very soon. Drew Brees' body is breaking down. You know, it's slowly breaking down. Drew Brees has prided himself on being one of the most durable quarterbacks in NFL history. That's part of his legacy. Part of Drew Brees' legacy is being a super duper durable quarterback. And if you look at Drew Brees from 2005 to 2018, do you know how many games Drew Brees missed during that time frame? He missed 3 games during that lofty stretch. From 2005 to 2018, Drew Brees only missed 3 games. However, last year, Drew Brees missed 5 games in 2019, and now 9 games into the season, he's put on IR. Drew Brees is 41 years old, and my biggest fear for Drew Brees is he might rush back from that injury. You know, Drew Brees is so eager to get out onto the field. I worry about him rushing himself back onto the field a little bit. You know, I hope that Drew Brees gets 100% healthy before he returns to the football field. Drew Brees is going to do everything he can to come back and to be ready to go. But at times, these athletes tend to rush themselves back. And I just worry that if Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston start sticking up the joint, that could rush Drew Brees back. And if Drew Brees rushes himself back and he's not fully healthy and he's exposing himself to hits, that's a problem for him. Because if Drew Brees lands funny on one of those punctured lungs or on those cracked ribs one more time, that could be his season. And honestly, based on the way he is right now, he's 41 years old. He's never been the biggest athlete. He's gone through 20 years of taking hits in the NFL. That might be the end of the road for Drew Brees if that's the case. I'm not hoping that's the case, but that is a likely scenario potentially. Okay? I'm not wishing anything bad to happen to Drew Brees. I'm just telling you some of the possible scenarios that could occur. And I really don't think Drew Brees is going to play football that much longer. This very well could be his last season. I mean, for what it's worth, Drew Brees did sign an NBC deal in the offseason. Did Philip Rivers sign an NBC deal? Did Tom Brady sign a deal with NBC Sports? No. Those guys were all about football in the offseason. I'm not saying Drew Brees was not committed to his craft, but Drew Brees signed a deal with NBC Sports in the offseason to be a broadcaster once he hangs things up. And if you're all about football, you're not thinking about NBC deals, okay? So I really think that Drew Brees at max plays 2 more seasons. He might be out the door after this season. I really could see Drew Brees hanging it up once the season comes to an end. And I said last year when the Saints failed in the playoffs versus Minnesota, when Minnesota came into their building and beat them in the first round of the playoffs, I said their Super Bowl window closed. They were a 13-win team last year. I said this year maybe they could reboot, but I don't know. I just think the Saints window might be closed already. I really do firmly believe that. What if Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill plays poorly and cost the New Orleans Saints a couple of games? Because Drew Brees was playing some good football before he, got injured, okay? But there could be a real possibility where Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston come in and screw things up, and you might be playing yourself out of a home playoff game because Tampa Bay, they're still a very good football team. They very well could catch New Orleans eventually before the season ends. There's still a lot of football left to be played. And right now, Green Bay has the number 1 seed. Seattle, they look pretty good versus Arizona last night. So all I'm saying is I think that potentially Drew Brees could rush himself back, and that could cause trouble for Drew Brees individually. And even if Drew Brees comes back fully healthy, there could be a situation where Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston play poorly, and that costs the Saints a game or two. And every game matters in regards to the standings, man. Because Green Bay and Tampa Bay and Seattle, they're all going to be fighting for that 1 seed along with New Orleans. So I just think that this might be the beginning of the end for the Drew Brees era in New Orleans. He's constantly been banged up the last 2 seasons. Last year he missed some time due to injury. Now he's on the sideline. He's on IR. Drew Brees is a quarterback that never gets injured. The last 2 years he's been injured. And I just wish Drew Brees the best. I'm rooting for him to potentially get a second Super Bowl. But in the end, this could very well be the beginning of the end of Drew Brees' career up to this point as we speak today. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.